Hello to all the men and women of the West, and I guess the East since I'm out here. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan, in
Hello
grainy
and
Technicolor.
greetings.
In grainy
Yeah.
Technicolor. All right, that. Let's see if I can't lean in to the side. There. All right. Um, Today we're not going to be discussing another fantasy story. We'll be discussing our own. There. Yep. The Crown of Blood. Yep. So this is going to be a slightly different stream from what we normally do because we don't usually, discuss our own works or projects in video or stream form because, we're fairly shy about it. So here's us trying to tear down that wall. And we'll start because this is an anthology. We're going to start with, first giving a shout out to Epic Kingdom. Thanks, man. Um, and World of Conan, who posted a congratulatory message on the short, the unboxing video, which was taken before I came to Japan, and here I am. Um, when it comes to this short story, the in the Valley of the Dark River, it's basically the prelude or the prologue to the actual story. Now, the backstory of this book, how we got to writing it, is that it was basically the appendixes to a novel I wrote, The Brotherhood of the Gemstone. And the thing is, the appendixes were taking quite a bit of time to write, as they often do. And the trouble is that um, I suddenly switched to starting to write it in short story format, more to get it straight in my head. Um, and Dan asked to join in on the project, and I decided to give him homework. The first short story was The Final Supper, which is story number 2 in the anthology. So Dan ended up joining in on that one and invented about half a dozen characters. Well, sort of. We already had their names, right, Dan? Like I had them in the
Yes,
family tree,
we
and
had their names.
but not the personalities.
Yeah, not the characters.
So the thing is, Dan invented a lot of the personalities for the characters in the second short story, and the only ones I think I invented were, I think to an extent, Simon, and that was kind of it. Although I insisted on Ringen being a bit of the villain in the shadows, kind of like the off-screen problem causer. And the thing is, Ringen does not appear in the final story. He doesn't appear until the third short story. Yeah, Dan invented about half a dozen to almost a dozen characters in that short story. Then we've got the one with, I think it was Zacchaeus the second. You wrote that one, and um, I know, like for Black Row Field, we really did kind of bounce that one between us because I wrote an initial draft. You made suggestions and basically acted like the director, and I rewrote and revised, and then you decided whether to okay it or not. And we did that for a few
Yeah.
short stories, I think. And bear in mind, this was supposed to be the appendixes for a solo novel of mine, but we ended up kind of bouncing between uh, ourselves a couple of the short stories, made some changes, so I had to go in and change some things in Brotherhood of the Gemstone. The idea of this book is that it is essentially the appendixes or a prequel to my Scottish epic, which is a Scottish mythology of sorts. This appendixes is.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button, and to also check out our new book, The Crown of Blood.